Welcome to the Let's Talk Initiative platform. On this platform, we give beauty for ashes. In the organization, we work with institutions such as schools, churches, families, different working institutions, the society, as well as individuals for programs such as counseling and mentorship programs, capacity building, team building, empowerment programs, and for you who has always wanted to become a professionally trained counselor, we work with you to training you to becoming a certified counselor so that you can serve as a professional. You can follow us on all our social media handles, Let's Talk Initiative, or if you want to get in contact with us, you can do it by 0701 139 338 or 0786 926 169. Thank you for joining us. Thank you, dear viewer, for joining us once more. This is Let Us Talk Initiative channel. On this channel, we give beauty for ashes. We redefine your stories. We work with you. We encourage you. We give you the mentorship that is so much needed so that you can become the person that you are meant to become. You allow the platform to air out everything that you feel inside of you, your stories, your experiences, and just sharpening so that we can together be able to learn. And when it's all said and done, then we can be able to release the potential that is inside of us. Because you know what? You have not even lived a third of what you have. If you just decided to live even a third, the world will be surprised by the kind of quality and the kind of potential that lies so deeply inside of you. My name is MATILDA, NTHAMA, a counseling psychologist, director, and founder Let Us Talk Initiative. In this organization, we offer counseling and mentorship services. We work with learning institutions, we work with the government, we work with the parastatals, we work with the societies, we work with families, we work with individuals. We literally work with everybody so that we are able to offer you the services of counseling. Those who are deep in addiction, we help you to go through the rehabilitation process. Those who are having a despair moment, despair over depression and suicide, we are able to work with you. In addition to all this, you who would desire to become a professionally trained counselor, we work with you, we train you, and ensure you not only become professional, but also get certified and you recognize to serve as a professional counselor. So on this video, I want to talk about something that is very close to my heart. It is something that has seated very deeply inside of me, and I realized that if that knowledge is able to be spoken and put out, then so many things in our lives will be able to change. In this video, I want us to look at the stages of human development. Yeah, I love this unit. It is one of the units I teach in college. And this unit entirely just seeks to you understanding who you are. How did you even come to this world? What happens in your 0 to 65 or until death years, so that you can be able to understand that life has changes, life has seasons, and life it keeps on shifting from level to level depending on who you are, what you've gone through, and the ability that you have inside of you. My objective for this teaching that I'm going to offer today is that number one, you can be able to understand who you are. Very important. I want to get that potential. I have a special way of just loving seeing people sprouting gifts and just being able to manifest the gift, the potential inside of them. I love that. Number two, this one I shall be sending it to you as a way to heal. You know, there are so many people with wounds which they never understood when they came or which method they came, and the wounds have kept them in one place that they have been unable to move on for such a long time. But when you understand the stages of human development, you're able to understand vidonda fulani viliingililia wapi, what exactly happened, and who even caused them, and not to blame them, but so that you can heal yourself it is important to understand that nobody owes you anything. Nobody. It doesn't matter what they did to you, but remember, life is 10% what happened to you. Okay, let me say that again. That life is 10% what happened to you, 90 was your reaction. So it matters, how did you react? When they said whatever they did, when your parents said whatever they said, when your spouse did whatever he, she, or did to you, your reaction was going to be the major thing. So it's not about the other person, it is you to work upon yourself. Number 3 objective that I'm looking at is to enable those people who are in marriages and also those who are just about to enter into marriage, because you need to understand, who are you bringing into your life? What have they gone through in life, so that when it's said and done, that you can be able to understand when they portray some character traits, you can be able to understand this is happening because of this. And even when the traits are not very good, then you can have the patience as you enable them to heal, because you know what? Everybody has a wound somewhere. So this is a full package gift from me to you, so that I can be able to see you standing and being able to make the life-defining decisions with a lot of soberness, with a lot of clarity, without having any confusion at all. So this is the unit that I am teaching you today. Now, psychologists in an attempt to understand exactly what is man, or who is man, and the things that they have gone through, and what affects the way they think. And in the previous episodes, if you check on the wall, you'll also be able to see that I've talked about personality types, and we saw what caused and what makes you behave the way you think. If you haven't watched the videos, you can go back and get to watch. So it's like I was just mentioning that in an attempt to understand who is man, what man carries, and even how to be able to get the best out of human beings, psychologists have come up with quite a number of methods and theories which are aiming at helping a human being understand themselves. But today I'm going to use one of the theories that I have found very applicable even in my teachings and trainings. And it makes sense because, to me, it makes sense because I'm able to see the transitioning of life from 0 years until 65 and until infinite. I'm able to see a human being projecting and going through the processes of changes. So this theory is called Eric, and Erikson. The first Eric has CK, the next Eric is just K. So Eric and Erikson theory. So according to Eric and Erikson theory, a human being has 8 stages. And stages are divided into years, so that now you are able to understand that every year of your life, there is something that happened, and that thing has been in your life permanently to date, whether you knew about it or you didn't know about it. So the first stage is called trust versus mistrust stage. That is 0 to 2 years. I'm going to state and then I'll explain. So the first one is mistrust versus trust stage. That is 0 to 2 years. Okay. The other one is autonomy versus shame. Autonomy versus shame. This is 2 to 3 years. The terrible 2 years. Number 3 is initiative versus guilt. Initiative versus guilt. This is 4 to 5 years. Initiative versus guilt stage. That is 4 to 5 years. The next stage is industry versus inferiority. Industrial versus inferiority. This is the bracket between 6 to 12 years. Okay, are we together with that point? Then the other one is identity versus role confusion. I love this one. Identity versus role confusion. Identity versus role confusion. This is where we are looking at the teenage life. And teenhood is such an encounter where all of us, if you're an adult, you have been there, and for the parents who have parented teens, then you are able to understand that teenagehood is not just a stage; it is an encounter. So that is the stage that is called identity versus role confusion, with also with its own challenges, with confusion and everything that happens around that stage. So that is around 12 to 19 years. 12 to 19 years. The next stage is intimacy versus isolation. Intimacy versus isolation. In intimacy versus isolation, this is a stage that you'd call youth. You know, the youth stage whereby you're entering the youth, and you have stopped being a teenie. Now you're no longer teenie, you're a youth. So you're trying to stabilize your life, you're trying to settle, you're trying to make career adjustments, you're investing. Literally, it's a whole foundation. To me, the way I look at it, the previous stage, identity and role confusion, to me, I see it as a gate from now total childhood, and then it acts as a gate of transition so that ikulete sasa to another world of adulthood. It's a major transition. So sawa. So the next one is productivity versus stagnation. Productivity versus stagnation, and that is where we are able to we are able to see now when you're trying to build your life, that should be around 36 years to around 65 years or so. And then there is ego intensity versus despair. Remember, I mentioned that intimacy versus isolation is now 19 to 35 years, so. And then the next one is now 36 to 65, all right? Then the ego intensity, the ego integrity versus despair, that one now is over 65 until the age that God has decided you will be on the face of the earth. Did I give a good breakdown? Good. So now we go to the first stage. Which we mentioned was trust versus mistrust. Now in trust versus mistrust, this is 0 to 2 years. In these 0 to 2 years is when a child has just been born. To me, that sounded deep. When a child has just been born, a melange. And you know, at this point, we are now looking at the child has come, the child is in the hands of the caregiver, and the child is now trying to adjust to the world. Ametoka place very warm, hakukuwa na issues, hakukuwa na complications, then where suddenly ameland ako kwa dunia sasa. So, what happens at that point, if the parent or the caregiver is able to take care of this child well, the child gains trust with the world. Okay, so when the child is crying and they are taken care of, when the child is feeling cold and they are kept warm, when the child is hungry and they learn that when I'm hungry, I'm fed, they learn to trust the world. So unlike another child who, whether they cry or not, nobody cares, whether they are cold or warm, nobody cares, that one, what happens at that stage is mistrust. Is what? Mistrust. So, and unknown to us and unknown to the baby, unknown to the caregiver, is that whatever has happened in this stage shall run through until the last day of the pass of the child's life in these worlds. That's why you will discover kuna watu wanakuanga na kutrust ni easy, na kuna watu wengine wanakuanga na trust issues. I can see you smiling. So when you discover that you have a mistrust issue, then you are able to understand mistrust yako ilikujia wapi. You are able to understand that ni kitu ulipitia, you suffered negligence. So even when growing up, You learned that you cannot trust people. You learned that you have to keep things to yourself. You learned that nobody cares. You learned that you have to fight for your space. Even in marriages, kuna watu wanakuanga paranoid. They cannot trust you. And they'll mistrust you when you're not doing anything wrong. You know why? Umeona sasa penye ilianzia. Si ndio? So some of these wounds cut very deeply that they just don't start in adult stage. They started from a very young stage. So I know you're getting answers to some of the questions of your life, your spouse, and even the people that you're associating with. Now, the second stage is autonomy versus shame. This is 2 to 3 years. This is 2 to 3 years of age. Sasa hapa ni penye panakuanga terrible too. You're having your child and they are trying to play out terribly. Hapa ndio wanakasirishanga wazazi. Wameshika socket, wameshika banji, wamevunja meza, sijui wamefanya nini, wameruka juu ya kiti, wameenda wamejichafua, they are coming back. And you as a parent, you're feeling exhausted. And how you choose to react forever shall affect this child, can tell you. Because the stage, wacha, shika, enda, fanya. Now, these things get into the subconscious. And if these children were rebuked very sharply, what will happen in future is that they lose their self-esteem. Sawa. And then another thing that is affected if this stage is not handled well is the ability to make decisions. You are likely to be knowing somebody mwenye hata kufanya simple decisions ni shida, ni kazi. Ilianza hapa. Alikuwa anaenda kufanya kitu anaambiwa wacha. Anaenda kupanda juu ya meza shuka. So they grow up with that controlled mind that I cannot make a decision of my own. I have to be told what to do. Okay? So you're in a great dependency that even in adult stage, these people, they are not able to make decisions. They suffer self-esteem. They feel that they are not worth it. They feel that other people are better than them. They feel that they can do nothing that is good in this life. They are the same people when they will qualify for leadership and administration roles. But because kuna ka child, kuna katoi ndani yao, anasikia akiambiwa wacha. So they'll prefer, me wacha tu nicheze a low profile, I don't need to go far. Si niliambiwa niache. Ilianza huko. Sawa. And then we go to the third stage. This is initiative versus guilt. Sawa. So hii ni between 4 to 5 years. This is between 4 to 5 years. So sasa mtoi ametoka kwa ile stage yenye alikuwa anaenda, anajichafua, anakaa careless, anaambiwa chenye atafanya. Sasa ameingia shule. This is another stage that literally affects somebody in a big way. Because now you're in the hands of a new person, a stranger who is the teacher. You are in a new environment. You are surrounded by strangers who are your schoolmates. Literally, you're starting a totally new life. So the hands that you fall into clearly define who you become. You fall into wrong and rough hands of teachers, I can tell you, you'll always suffer shame in your life. I know people who are rebuked by teachers and they were told you are very stupid. And to date, they know they are very stupid. Wheezy Peter mathematics, and to date, they just know that. Or you find that you go into an institution and of course, the learners are in different levels, the parents are in different levels. So maybe kama mtu hajatoka kwa family background poa sana, they'll meet with other learners, and the learners, they might bully them, or this learner, the learner now may feel that I wouldn't come from a good enough family. So they'll grow up with a lot of feeling that they never came from good families. Other people always have better things in their lives. So after even when they become adults, they will always feel other people deserve things that they don't deserve. I know you have met or you're even that person. And afadhali watu wengine wapate vitu poa, but for you, you don't deserve it. It's a problem, and it's a wound which you need to heal. So contrast to a person who grew up in a healthy environment, a person who was taught how to balance issues. They never felt the issue of competition, because again, this is where children go to school and they are taught competition. Lazima nikuwe number one, na kama mimi si number one, I'm nothing. So, if you don't handle your child well to understand that you don't always have to win, whenever they lose, even in adult stage, they'll always feel inferior. They'll always feel broken. They'll always feel like, I cannot become anything that is sensible. So, then we go to stage 4. Stage 4, this is industry versus inferiority. The other one in stage 3 was initiative versus guilt. Now we are going to industry versus inferiority. Industry versus inferiority, this happens between the age of 6 to the age of 12. This is called preteen. Preteen is the age slightly before teenagehood. So in this age of preteen, this is where around 6 years, that should be around grade 1, roughly grade 1, at most maybe 2. So from grade 1 up to around grade 4, 5, if we were to look at how ages have always been divided in the learning institutions. So now at this stage, they are being introduced to stability in the school. They are being introduced to stability in life. They are being introduced to that you have to learn to depend on yourself. So if that is not handled well, they will suffer inferiority. But if it is handled well, they will have the industrial kind of spirit. Industrial meaning I can initiate something like balige, because that stage of 6 years is when they play around with their schoolmates, is when they are introducing new games, it is when they are playing and even being creative for schools which allow creative arts. This is where also in a big way it comes. So the formation of the mind of this child is highly dependable on that. Even the way they receive correction when they are wrong, when they are told that you're very stupid, that you cannot do anything, that you can never become anything, it registers in their minds in a very, very big way. So when you see some people who are unable to take actions, when you see some people, they are supposed to make a decision to start a certain project, but they are unable, just understand, ilianzia hapo as low as 6 years. Even if the man is 57 years, understand ilianzia 6 years. So that was industry versus inferiority. Then we go to the area that I love the most. I have a grace of parenting teenagers. I love them. If your teenie is anakusumbua, mulete tu. I am promising you, by the grace of God, you'll get a very good product. So it is identity versus role confusion. Identity versus role confusion. This is the age between 13 and 19, the teenies. So at this stage, there is a whole roller coaster of things happening in the life of this child. Yani ni ile yenye we ametoka sasa from another stage yenye alikuanga ayanga kidogo, so sasa ameingia hapa and things happen. This is where the emotions change. This is where their physical changes. This is where their psychology change. This is where girls' breasts sasa zinaanza kusprout. For men, the voice is breaking. For girls, they are starting to see menses at the end of the month. A lot happens at this stage. This is where rebellion comes in because their hormones are just imbalanced in a big way. So unapata, if this stage is not handled well, unfortunately many parents mishandle it properly. Because hapa ndio msichana anasikia nataka kukatiwa, I want to prove a point, I want to be loved, I want to be touched. So as a parent, if you are unable to handle this stage properly, you break the rest of their lives. And please let me say this to you parents. At this stage, you need to be very careful on how you offer corrections and discipline. This is not a stage, I'm not saying wasichapwe, I'm only saying it is not a stage that beating is the best solution. This is a stage that you sit down, you talk with them, you show them sense, you help them to own life. Wache kufikiria wanakuishia maisha. They stop thinking that they are studying for you in school. You pump sense. And do you see the age from 0 to 5 years? That's when you offer discipline ya kuchapa. If you don't build a good foundation at that point, hapa utasumbuka sana. And it's also in 0 to 5 years that you're also able to identify your child's career. Please let it be known and may you understand this, that a career is not something that inafaa kukua sasa ati mtu amemaliza form 4, that's when you're trying to choose a career. No. If you are a keen and a mature parent, anything between 0 to 5 years, then between that age, you should have identified your child's natural giftings, your child's natural abilities. Whatever they do without a struggle, that is what they were born to do. And that is their career. Because what is a career? A career should not be a job. A career should be work. And you should enjoy, and you should know it even before going to learn about it. It's something that should be deeply rooted inside of you. I'm going to do a podcast about career choices one of these days. I'm sure we shall be able to discuss that area in a deeper way. So that was identity and role confusion, where we have seen that the teenagers go through a lot of crisis, a lot of not understanding themselves, a lot of not knowing what to do with themselves. It can really get tricky if it is not well handled. Okay. Sawa. Then we now go to the next point. Nilikuwa nataka nimalizie haka, then haka ni 2 stages to 3 instead of kuifanya kwa another day, nimalizie. Sawa. Hapa nikimaliza tuanzie ingine. Milioni imeenda sana.
27. So ushamaliza
niseme the closing remarks and then uiweke ingine.
Sawa.
So those have been the 6 stages of human development. I'm remaining some more. It shall be done in the next video. I hope that the information gives you the clarity of how to do parenting. It enables you to look at life differently, and pia wewe mwenye ulikuwa ruzwa kwa maisha in one way or the other, that you're able to heal so that you can become the person that you're meant to be. And you who has been given this child now to mentor, understand from 0 years, whatever you imprint in them and on them forever is inside of them. So, can you take the parenting role seriously? And so that now, when you know that we are stewards, these children don't belong to us, we are able to be more sensible. It was a pleasure speaking to you. I look forward to having more engagements with you. Kindly look check forward for the upcoming video about the other stages of human development and how you can correct some of the things that you see that are not good inside of you, okay, so that you can become the man and the woman that you're meant to become. Kindly subscribe on the page, share, like, and turn on the notification bell so that every time that we post these informations, you can be able to receive. And so that together we can be polished. Thank you very much. I speak blessings. I speak clarity in your life. I also speak that as you do parenting, may God's grace be sufficient upon you. Shalom.